My prediction is that work will be optional.
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 Optional?
I mean, it'll be like playing sports or a video game or something like that. If you want to work, in the same way, like you can go to the store and just buy some vegetables, or you could grow vegetables in your backyard. It's much harder to grow vegetables in your backyard, but some people still do it because they like growing vegetables.
Good morning. My name is Jesse. Thanks for watching my channel. Today I want to talk about, I don't know if you saw this news, but Elon Musk, just less than 2 weeks ago, this was in Saudi Arabia. He was at a conference and he was talking about, well, you heard it. He was talking about someday, because of AI, work will be optional. And I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by that as let's hurry up, let's get there, let's have optional work. Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. And I got to say that it's not going to happen, not in the way he's talking about. I mean, people are not going to just have the choice whether to stay home and tend their gardens if they want to make a living in this world. It's not realistic, right? I mean, Andrew Yang still talks about universal basic income, but he was talking about giving Americans $1,000 a month each as kind of like a cushion against poverty and the worst things that can happen. Ooh, a little echo in here. Let's face it, Elon Musk is a classic bubble boy. He was born to a very rich family. He created an empire with Tesla and SpaceX and everything else that he's doing. And his politics, well, I don't want this video to be about his politics because then I'll just be ranting and yelling at the screen. But I am fascinated, and I do have admiration for a person like Elon who can almost single-handedly popularize electric vehicles as something that regular Americans will buy. And also the thing about guys like Elon is that they don't have a failure of imagination. They will put out ideas that may or may not be, kind of visionary, futuristic ideas that may or may not have any practical reality in the current world. But, until you open your mouth and speak it, it doesn't exist. And then maybe it will exist. One of the best examples of this in American history was when President Kennedy talked about the space program.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
But back to the topic of work being optional. Since I want to keep this video short, around 10 minutes, I just want to focus on two ideas. The first being, well, Elon's plan will never work. Work will never be at a place where it's optional. And the second being how I created and how you can create a working life that works for you. Big topic, right? Yeah, to the first point, I want to start with two concepts: scarcity and competition. I mean, it's nice to say that work is going to be optional, but the reality is that if work is optional and you need a new roof, do you think somebody is going to say, I got nothing better to do today, I'll put up a roof for this guy? The idea is that you pay a wage that a person will accept to do the work, but the person doing the work doesn't always love the work, right? Picking bananas, washing the dishes. There's a million jobs that, well, to put it in a word, suck. And the only reason they do them is because they're getting paid. Is that optional, or is that a form of coerced labor? And I'll throw in another part, and that is, to quote the great Bruce Springsteen, poor man want to be rich, rich man want to be king, and the king ain't satisfied till he runs everything. And that's kind of the Elon bubble thinking. I mean, these guys who are in power, these corporations who are in power, they can say whatever they want because they have the ability and the financial resources to work, not work, to think that life is good. Well, life is hard for most people in this the way this world is set up. You got to struggle, and you don't have the option of not working. All right, let me pivot. I'm on the campus of UC Berkeley, by the way. Let me pivot to just some thoughts about building a good work-life balance, building the life that works for you. Like I said, I know this is a big, big topic. Hold on, let me let this truck pass by. I know this is a big topic, but especially for me, who's always been a traveler, a guy with wanderlust, a guy who loves to travel, it was really important to figure out what I could do for a living that would allow me to travel, to meet these needs. And so that steered me into, it was one reason I loved the NBA. It steered me into being a sports reporter covering the NBA because I would work about 9 months out of the year and then get 3 months off. I would get hotel and frequent flyer miles, and I would be able to travel for 3 months in the summertime. When I later switched to teaching, my original impetus for this was that I wanted to live abroad. I'd never lived abroad before. And so I thought, what could I do? And I wanted to work in China, which limited me more in terms of what kind of jobs I could get. So teaching English was the way I could do it. I mean, at that time, you open up your mouth and English words popped out, and they'll say, do you want a job? So I did that, and it turns out that, like my previous career in sports writing, afforded me summers off. And wherever I taught, there was always the option of working summer school, taking on tutoring. And I basically, because I'm lazy, because I wanted to travel, I didn't do it. And so I left a lot of money on the table, but the exchange was that I had my freedom to travel. And I also want to say that in knowing who you are and knowing what you need, my life is completely individual. I mean, I don't want to go so far as saying unique. There's probably a lot of people in my situation, but I don't have children. For most of that time, I didn't have a wife or girlfriend. So that affords you a different kind of optional work, to coin a phrase.
That will be what work is like, optional.
And it's certainly not my way or the highway. I mean, I have lots of friends and relatives who have planted roots, who have been where they are for years and years and years, be it the same house, the same job. And if that, fits who they are, I'm not trying to say you need to be working only 9 months out of the year. I'm saying that you need to do what is right for you. And if money is a high value for you, figure out how to get the money, right? But for me, money has never been the high value. It is time. It is freedom. It is not working in an office, not having a direct supervisor hanging over my head. That, to me, in the working world, has been the real gold. But again, it would have been a totally different situation if I had to put my children through college, if I had to take care of a relative financially. so many things fall into us all trying to figure out our own paths. Finally, for those of you who are young and still working and have wanderlust and want to travel abroad, this may be the best time in history for you to do it. When I was young, I mean, there might have been some options, but basically the best and most popular option was to become a teacher in another country. Nowadays, you learn a skill, you get a job, you're looking at your screen. There are tons and tons of digital nomads all over this world, working from cafes, working from their home in another country. Yeah, I really, if I could turn back time, right? Yeah, that is wonderful. Yeah, so Elon, work is optional. Tending your garden, things like that. Okay, I'm going to give it some hope. I think that I'm glad that he spoke it out. I don't know what he meant. I don't know if even he knows what he meant. Like I said, coming from that bubble perspective where when you're a millionaire and a billionaire and I think he's a trillionaire, you have a lot of options to tend your garden if you want. And also, you are in the kind of field and you're the kind of person where you probably live to work. There are a lot of people who, find that job that they love and never have to work a day in their life. Those are the lucky few. I felt I was for a while, sports writing and teaching, but change happens and you get older and you like other things. But yeah, let's just hope that he opened his mouth and he said something that will someday come true. And on that hopeful note, I am going to end this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, please press the like button. Any thoughts on work? On work being optional? Leave a comment below. And finally, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe. All right, till next time. Talk to you later.